everyone, and welcome to Zest Zen with me, Shel Marie, the podcast that will take you on a journey from the hustle to the harmony, fueling your passion whilst finding your peace. Today, it's an absolute honor to welcome a truly incredible man, Jamie McAnsh. He is an award-winning motivational speaker, adaptive athlete, and the head of inclusion at Champions UK PLC. His journey from waking up paralysed in 2014 to climbing Kilimanjaro and reaching Everest base camp on Crutches shows us the true meaning of resilience. Through his work in inclusion, leadership, and adaptive sport, he inspires us to rise above adversity, embrace possibility, and create lasting impact in both life and business. I am super excited to dive into his extraordinary story and unpack how setbacks have become powerful comebacks, and explore how the strategies and mindset that help us thrive despite life challenges have been the fuel towards his, I believe, mission and movement. Welcome.
Hello.
I was so close not to doing it. It's like becoming a little ha-ha pattern now. But anyway, I tried my best for you.
I know, bless you. I was like, I could just do a taking you on tour. That'd be great.
I'll be your cheerleader.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm quite excited to see where this podcast goes. I do many interviews and shows, and I always love how they just kind of take their own natural pathway, and I just love jumping on the journey and seeing what happens.
Amazing.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you so much. I have this vision that one day in person or something, everyone's going to go, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But you know what? It is what it is. And
absolutely,
as you will know, when we just fully show up, we embrace it, we just own all aspects of us. That's when the real transformation happens and others feel they have the permission to show up as well.
On that note, actually, I do this a lot in my talks about how we shine best in chaos. And
we would prefer less, but yes.
But we generally do. Like human beings, for some reason, they just come out when everything goes falls apart. They come out of their best version. So, and COVID is a prime example of that. When we went into COVID, the world woke up paralyzed, everything just, basically fell flat on its face. No one really knew what was going on. And then all of a sudden, communities started connecting and reconnecting. But actually, in many cases, communities started connecting for the first time. And, everyone was supporting each other. Everyone was looking after each other. And people were going and doing shopping for the elderly and supporting the disabled members of the community. And then all of a sudden, COVID came and went, and now Doris has to do her own shopping. It's quite, I've always found it quite ironic how in chaos we shine, but then as soon as things come normal, everything just goes back to the way it was. And there was a lot during the COVID period where everyone was going, this is going to change the world forever, but actually it only changed the world for a short period of time, really. And for someone that does a lot of traveling, I go around, there's very little sign of 2020 anyway now, really.
Obviously, we shouldn't get held up on that, but the what it is now, but it is a shame, and that's why we have powerful people like you stepping into these spaces and sharing your voice, because we can say it like a joke, but it is true. Poor Doris is now, she's trying to get up those stairs, because usually they have lots of stairs as well, and all the bags, and she also wants to feel empowered, but also wants some support.
Yeah, absolutely. And that comes back onto it, support. I think we forget when we're going through, different parts of our journey, and I've certainly learned this over my years, is that support, having someone there to lean on, is one of the most powerful things that we can have, and to be there for someone to lean on is the most powerful gift that we can give each other. So, and that's certainly one of the lessons that I've learned over my last decade, really, of facing resilience and adversity in many ways. But it's been a lot's come out of my story from that aspect. So yeah, so
Absolutely.
delve into it, I guess.
Yeah, well, I was saying I'm sure, and it's not absolutely to make, like even saying it and what you've achieved from it, but obviously when we go back to that point, that really shows the man behind the mindset, more than the mindset, but physically as well. Like it's your bio is incredible, and just speaking with you, it's an absolute honor. So, yeah, feel free to share whatever you feel would really benefit people right now, particularly going through their own challenges mentally as well as physically.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange thing. So, as you alluded there, 11 years ago, so in 2014, I went to bed, and my life changed forever. And I had an event happened during my sleep. I had a spasm during my sleep, and when I woke up, I had ruptured my spine and was left with degenerative paralysis. And I've now been left with a life degenerative condition called complex regional pain syndrome. And like in the early days when we talk about mental health, that was the biggest struggles that I had, was the facing of all of these challenges. That it doesn't come with a rule book, it doesn't come with an instruction manual, it doesn't come with anything that kind of helps you, guide you, lead you, feed you, whatever the correct term is. But I had to kind of find it myself, and I speak to people quite often, and they ask me my advice on behalf of their friends, or on their on behalf of their loved ones. And it's really difficult, because I think there is an element that people need to navigate their own way, but it's an achievement when you reach it, when you reach wherever you're trying to get to. But you do need that hand of support,
Absolutely,
definitely, because community, and this is why I mentioned 2020, community is fundamentally, we are community animals. We need companionship, and that's been proven time over time again over history, that we're not solitude animals. And when we become solitude, that's when we really sort of strike down, that we start getting major problems. So yeah, it's always the community that we fall back on. It's certainly what I did when I after my suicide attempt. I then realized that community was what I wanted, and from the community, obviously, I found sport, and that was a massive driving for me. But what sport gave me was that community, was the network, the peer group, the people that could help me and support me when I needed it, ask for advice, give me learnings. And I've learned a lot around how we approach people, but how we speak to people, how we deal with people, how we work with people. People often say to me, certainly as a suicide survivor, they say, if I'm looking to, I've got a friend who is this, or I've got a situation and I don't know how to approach that subject. And I'm like, well, the first thing you need to do is you need to make sure you get to know the people around you, and then identify how they interact. And like, for example, my father, who passed away in 2016, if ever I wanted to really have a heart to heart with my dad, the best thing to do would be to go for a walk with him and the dog. Because for some reason my dad would open up when he was in that environment, but I only knew that through knowledge. And my mum was different, my brother's even different, my sisters, everybody is kind of different about how we where our comfortable space is. And I'm different as well. For me, it's about a feeling, it's about a sense. So when we talk about mental health, we talk about journeys, and we talk about support, we talk about networks. It's all about getting to know each other. And it's something that I think society in a whole has kind of lost its way a little bit. During 2020 and the years to follow that, we got a little bit better at it, and then we slipped back into the old ways, which is a drastic shame. Because there was a time when you knew your neighbor, you knew people got to know each other, and everyone was there during that moment of crisis to support each other. So yeah, I'd like personally, if I had my way, I'd love to see that happen again in workplaces, in communities, in social networks. That's what I'd really love to see.
But ironically, I feel like you say that, but you are in what you're doing and how you're showing up. You are, because in you just sharing that, that was really powerful. And even if someone just listens to that and takes that, even for me, like, yeah, you know, it isn't a conversation, it's a realization. It's taking that conscious time to really look and get to know someone, because often we don't even know how we open up. We don't even know, yeah, because it's very different to being in it and observing it. And obviously, because you've had that awareness, you've also started realizing in yourself. But yeah, if you were to turn around to your dad's not going to be able to tell you that. That's something you took the time to really, really see the difference of him in different environments, and know that, you know what, right now I feel like I want to really connect on a deeper level with my dad.
Yeah,
Yeah, that speaks more when we go for a walk. Like, that's really powerful. And not just in families, but your friends. They're all very different. Your neighbor, even just checking in with your neighbor, even a smile, a hello or something, it goes a long way. But often we're so focused on our own lives and what we're doing, and almost a lot online now, that we're missing what's actually around us in the actual moment. So
yeah,
yeah, I
absolutely.
love that
I
you
spend a lot
mentioned
of
that.
time interacting with people because of my job and because of what I do. And I meet people from all sorts of walks of life, and the same thing is always common, and it's that people want to be able to be seen, they want to be
Yeah.
valued, they want to be nurtured, they want to be supported, they want to have a conversation, they want to be listened to, and
Mm,
that is in the world of inclusion, that's basically what
yeah.
inclusion is. It's about showing up, but showing that people, that you care about your teams, and etc etc. So it's really interesting that I was not the person I was when I went to bed on the 6th of January. I'm not that person anymore, and chance I never will be again.
Mm,
I've done a lot of self-investment, and this is something else that when we're talking about empowerment, and when we're talking about creating that, need I say it, zest for life,
yeah.
it is about self-investment, and it's something that again we don't do enough of, and I don't really see why. It's because I think it's always a struggle to see value in someone else if you don't see value in yourself.
Mm,
And like, so for me and my partner, we have two, there's a couple of non-negotiables in our relationship, right?
yeah.
So for her, it's a non-negotiable is her hair and her nails. So Beck does her hair and her nails once a month. It's a non-negotiable, and I would never,
Yeah.
I would that
It's
it's a
important to her.
non-negotiable, and the reason behind that is because it makes her feel good.
Yeah.
She,
Mental mindset.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. For me, it's massage. So I have a massage once a month. I go to an amazing lady, Thai lady, who lives about 15 minutes from our house,
Hmm.
and I go there for an hour and a half once a month, and I have a Thai massage, and that's a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because that helps me. I've got a lot of physical
Yeah.
challenges that I'm still face, or that I face on a daily basis. I suffer with pain, so for me it's a medical necessity, but it's the type of thing that people will look as a luxury, and they won't understand the value of the investment.
Mm,
And the amount of times that I see people come to me like, oh yeah, I struggle with my back, or I struggle with my shoulder, or struggle with my neck, and I'm like, go and have a massage. Oh, I can't afford a massage. I'm like,
mm,
but you're spending £150 a
yes.
month on Sky TV,
Yes.
which is leaving you sat on the sofa, which is probably making your back worse.
Yeah.
So spend the 60 quid, go and have a decent massage, even if you only have it once every other month.
Mm,
You know, it's about that investing in yourself. And I know that this is something that you're very strong at, is self-investment is key to,
yeah.
I think, any success. If you're in business, you're not just going to wake up one day and be the CEO of a multinational company. It's going to take reading, it's going to take learning, it's going to take involvement, it's going to take development, and all of that is developing within your own self and self skills.
Absolutely.
Life is exactly the same. If you want to be the best sportsman, you don't just wake up, get on a track, run 100 meters, break a world record, and you're a gold medalist. It doesn't happen that way. It happens with time and effort. And I've got a very dear friend of mine called Derek Redmond, who is he's a gold medalist, world renowned, very famous for his achievements, and he will tell you the same. He didn't get his gold medal. The gold medal was the one part of his actual life that he had no control over.
Absolutely.
He did have control over. Yeah. He had control on how he turned up, how he trained, how he, the food he ate, the whole thing, the mindset, the empowerment that he created for himself. That's all the stuff he had control over, and that's what he worked on. The gold medal that he won at the end of it, well, that was not guaranteed until he crossed the line. And that's life. Nothing is guaranteed. The promotion and work is not guaranteed until you get it. The big deal that you're currently working on that will bring in a £10,000 is not happened until the contract is signed. And then it's not even guaranteed until the money's in the bank.
Yeah. So, I hear you. There's so many of us, we've just been, a lot of us, brought up that you do this and you receive this at the end of the month. So when you change that and you do something such as this, where people, well, why are you doing that? Why? Well, why? Because then I get to speak and tap into mindsets like yours and have these conversations that actually are beyond me, because it's a service to others. And then others get to hear your voice, whether it's via me, via something else. So, okay, to lots of people, it doesn't make any sense, but I'm passionate about it. And it's something that I believe will, in however way it's supposed to be, will serve its time and its purpose, whether that's money or not money. It's not always, I think, often we always want the gold, like what you say, now. We want it yesterday. But sometimes we have to trust the process and we have to believe in it.
Absolutely. And I talk a lot about this. I talk about having faith in the process. And, I'm not religious. I'm about as religious as Ricky Gervais. But the truth of the matter is, I have faith and I understand faith.
I'm the same.
Yeah. And it was something that I learned when, certainly climbing to Everest Base Camp, which I did on Crutches back in 2022. And, that was a challenge. That was 65 kilometers each way.
Can we just quickly highlight that before you continue?
Sure.
Crutches, just everyone, just really zoom in on that. In Crutches. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah. And you know what? It was tough. It was hard.
I'm sure it was tough.
Yeah. And I can't, I kind of say it quite blasé these days, but, it's because, I did it. But even every sort of movement, every step, every motion, every moment, I was, there were times on that hill when I just thought to myself, what am I doing? Whose stupid idea was this?
Throw the crutches, no!
Yeah.
I needed that.
And the funny thing is, there was a lot of press around that event, and, I was even, bearing in mind, there was the Russian-Ukraine conflict was happening at the time, and I was even in newspapers in Russia, which blew my mind. I was in the papers in New Zealand, in Germany, in Australia, in America. All of this was kind of happening around me, and it did blow my mind. To think that I'm just some dude climbing a mountain. It's not at all, but yeah. and in my mind as well, I was thinking, I'm not even going to the summit. Could you imagine what would have happened if I was going to the summit? But I then realized you don't have to go to the summit to achieve greatness. You don't have to go all the way to the top. But when I got there, there wasn't a big, brass band at the top. There wasn't like a big funfair. I got there, queued up for 15 minutes, had my photo taken on what can only be described as a 3.5 ton graffitied rock, and then I walked back. It wasn't like, do you know what I mean? It wasn't even that. Once it was done, it just wasn't that big a deal. So you kind of go, oh, okay, right. Well, that's that then. But it wasn't the accomplishment that was the act. That's actually created the impact. It was the 8-year journey that it took from being paralyzed to reach at Everest Base Camp, which was always the end goal.
Wow.
So it was that whole journey. And when we talk about base camp, people say, it's 65 kilometers, right, from Lucre Airport to base camp, which doesn't seem that far, but it's, you're up and down all the way, and it's done, and you're climbing up in altitude as well. And you're up there, and people quite often go, what's it like? And you go, well, I'll give you a little bit of an example. Is the one thing that produces oxygen that we need to survive and live, being trees. Like it does, they can't survive there. So,
they lessen as we go.
Yeah. So this is that.
Even the trees don't want to be up there.
Absolutely. Like nothing lives up there. Like there's no other living
birds.
There. Yeah. No birds. Right. Birds don't live up there either. Right?
Birds like, no thanks, you carry on.
Yeah. So it's it's a real kind of sense of this is kind of where you are, and I still have people saying to me, oh yeah, but you only went to base camp though, right? And I'm like, yeah, I only went to a place you've never been. Like I only went to a place that effectively was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done, but when you then start breaking it down and realizing the achievement of it, it was, for me, it was a very personal challenge, and I learned a lot on that process. I learned about having faith in people, like the people that guided us up there, Lupsang and Puba. Like I'd only known them for a couple of days.
Wow.
And here I am, like investing my whole life into him, and that's not including, I mean, that investment of faith in the process started the second I got on the airplane. Did you know that Lucre Airport is the most dangerous airport in the world, right?
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Just add to it.
I know, right? There's only 11 pilots in the world trained to land and take off at Lucre Airport, right? So your faith in the process starts the second you get on the plane.
And they tell you that, just before.
Oh yeah, I knew already. But hoping and praying, right, that the pilot that's flying the plane is one of the 11.
And he's having a good day.
Yeah, and he's having a good day, absolutely. And that actually goes back to, like, I'm not a real fan of heights, and I remember doing a parachute jump. So I strapped myself to a German guy called Hans. And granted, he'd done 52,000 jumps, professional jumps. Yeah. And that was a conversation I had with him. You okay? You having a good day? Family good? Marriage good? Life good?
Yeah.
As he throws me out of an airplane at 100 miles an hour. So, it's all of these kind of things, and we do things. We don't realize actually the amount of faith we put into people. But then you do a completely different challenge. So I did Everest first, and then 2 years later, I did Kilimanjaro, and I did that on carbon legs, carbon CAFOs.
Wow.
Which meant that I didn't need the use of crutches. But when you're looking at the dynamics of these two challenges, you've got one challenge where the truth of the matter is, for the whole time I was in Nepal and trekking towards Everest, I'd never actually seen Everest, right? Like I'd never actually seen the mountain. And I didn't see it until the day after we reached base camp, when we summited Kalapatar, and we climbed to the top of Kalapatar. And it was only me and it was only three of us that did it. It was me, Tim, and Lupsa and Puba. And we sat there and watched the sunrise over the top of Everest. And that was the first time I'd ever seen Everest. And bear in mind, I've had right? That's the top of the world, right? And the best part about that was the first time I'd seen it, and I've had a poster of Everest on my wall since I was 7. So that's the reality, right? That is the reality of that achievement, okay? But up until that point, I just had to believe that Everest existed because, seeing is believing, and I'd only ever seen pictures, right? And let's be honest, in this day and age, that could be anything, right? Then when we do Kilimanjaro, it's a whole different ballgame, because Kilimanjaro is the highest freestanding mountain in the world. It's not in any mountain range. So when you're doing the trek, it's constantly looming over the top of you, like this. It's almost bidding you to try your luck. Yeah. And you go through 6 or 7 different types of environments on the way up as well. So you start off in rainforest, then you go into jungle, then you come out into alpine forest, then you go into desert, you go into rock outcrop, eventually you end up in glacier at the top. So you got all these different environments that you are navigating. Every environment situation changes. And then eventually you get to you got the Branca wall to to climb, which is infamous. The Branca wall is a 220-meter straight up climb. And you do that without ropes. It's terrifying. And you're climbing up, you're looking straight down most of the time, but you're then having faith in. So my guide at the time was a guy called Wilson, and Wilson was brought onto the team purely to look after me. And he literally told me where to put my hands, where to put my feet, where to lean, where to hold on to, when to let go, when to lean, when to all of that. And I never questioned him, not once. I listened to every word he had to say, because not listening to him was not really an option. Out of the two of us at that particular moment, granted, neither one of us had ever climbed the Barranca wall on carbon CAFOs, but he still had more experience than I did. So I had to have faith in him as an individual.
Absolutely.
And he was the man. So, and he got me up there, and we got to the top, and standing at the Peninsula, and you look around and you can literally see the curvature of Earth, because there's nothing there to stop your view. And that's the award. That's the reward you get for having faith in the process. And then getting up to even getting up to the top and onto the summit of Kilimanjaro, and there's photos of me on the summit. And the strange thing about some of these pictures, some of these photos, is I cannot remember them being taken.
Wow.
Because you are so exhausted. You've used every ounce of your climbing capability, energy, reserves, the lot. And 7 of us started this trek, and only 3 of us made it to the top. So that just gives you an idea of the severity of the challenge itself, right?
Wow.
And that takes nothing away from the others, because when altitude hits you, it hits you hard, and there's no, you don't get a choice then. It's not like, oh well, if you breathe better, or if you go slower, or if you get better sleep, or if you eat more. Really isn't the case. There are certain things that you can do that will help aid it. But if altitude is going to hit you, it's going to hit you, and that is it. And it can hit you today and not tomorrow. So it is a lot of that is luck of the draw, right? With me, exhaustion hit me, and I got to Stellar Point. I sat on a rock, fell asleep. I thought I'd reached the summit. I was, my adrenaline levels had started to drop. And then I realized that I had another hour and a half to climb to reach summit. But I also then had another hour and a half climb back before I got back to where I was currently sat, exhausted. So
because you can't stay there, can you? So that's the other thing. It's not like
I just have a little chill out here for the afternoon. It doesn't happen that way. So that's the mental attitude to say, and I quite literally, we started out at base camp at plus 22 degrees, right? Well, 24 degrees, I believe it was, right? So plus 24 degrees, and it was 10 o'clock at night, pitch black. By the time we got to Stellar Point, it was minus 16, right? Our water bottles had frozen. You're mentally and physically exhausted. And even at that point, and this is the point that I want to make, right? At that exact point where I genuinely didn't think I had anything left in me, I found enough energy to climb, not just for another hour and a half, but then another hour and a half to get back to where we were.
Wow.
And then another 8 hours to get back to camp, right? So, and that was at the point where I was exhausted. So when those people go, when people sit there at the point of giving up and they just go, I can't do it anymore, I'm done, I'm giving up at this point, they've got the energy to make that decision. I was out of energy. And when I stood on the summit and had that photo taken, And I have a very, very slight memory of that happening, but I have no physical knowledge, like no physical kind of conscious memory. It's not like I genuinely think that if it wasn't for the photos, if you told me I never climbed to the top, I'd have probably believed you. And then you get down to the bottom and you have a rest and you wake up the next day and it really is a case of going, did that just happen?
Wow.
Did I just achieve that? And that's another lesson in itself, you know. So even when you are at the lowest point of your, you know, physical capabilities, you have still got that extra bit in you to get to the end. And that's exactly the barrier that I had to break through to reach the summit. And you know, and I'm very, very proud I've done it. I'm very, very chuffed I've done it. I can't wait to crack on to the you know, the next challenges that are lined up. But I'm going to have to dig deep and find that same mental strength in those challenges as well. But even then, nothing is guaranteed. And you know, I was an hour and a half away from the summit of the highest freestanding mountain in the world, and even that wasn't guaranteed.
Wow.
And it taken me 8 days to get to that point, and even then it still wasn't guaranteed. So nothing is guaranteed. You have to work hard at it, but you also have to sometimes you know, have faith in yourself. Dig deep, find that extra 1% that you require to push you to the next level.
Wow, incredible. Even that just in itself is so powerful, and I can imagine, like, I know you said like your next challenge for you to dig back into that, but I can imagine you always remember that experience when things show up in your life, like as you said, the pain still, like this is the thing that I think, you know, we read the Bible and all this, it's still something ongoing for you, it's still something you deal with daily, but you still get up, you show up, and even as you expressed before we push record, you've been traveling so much, and we joked about, oh, and it's a podcast today, and you were so kind about it. But again, like this, you know, could have been a day where you just wanted to pour into yourself, you just want to have some time to yourself, and even that, I feel, and it's not a gender thing, but for men more, is a harder thing to do as well when you have a commitment, and I know men really want to honor it, and even that in itself, just taking that time, and you've expressed so many things, even the massage, like just reframing it, this is actually a really powerful thing for you, and it's something that not only mentally but physically is something that supports you, and why shouldn't we take the time, work out the costs in order to pour into ourselves what's something that is going to make us feel better, because when we are full and we show up, we can show up better for other people.
And that's Matt, and that's why you put your own face mask on before you help, and you know, oxygen mask before you help others, because if you don't have your own oxygen mask on, you're going to die. You're not used to anybody, right? And you are right, it is a gender thing. It genuinely is a gender thing, because you know, we're in a world now where this is such a mixed conversation, and you know, I genuinely believe that genetically women are more caring, and they, you know, more nurturing, right? And men are more protection and fixers, right? And it's certainly with me, right? And I'm quite honestly, anyone who knows me will know that when it comes to being feminine, like I'm like, tick that box, right? Like anyone who knows me, I mean, my stepdaughter, she tells me that I cry more than her, and I think she's probably right. Yeah,
like I think that is the strength in that vulnerability, actually. But yes,
absolutely. Like I'm very, but that again, that's taking self-investment to understand the value of my own vulnerability, right? Yeah, and that's all it is. I've got, and I laugh and joke about it, but I'm very strong with my own vulnerability, and actually, that is what makes me strong. Is the fact that I'm flexible, that I know I've got a breaking point. I know that to be strong, you have to be vulnerable. And I talk a lot about this, certainly around International Men's Day. And it's one of my busiest days of the year, you know, when I go out and I talk around, you know, that the difference between men and women is not something that we can change overnight, right? That you were talking about thousands of years of woven, intertwined development and training that's come down from generation to generation to generation to generation. And at the time of that initial development, that was the right thing.
Yeah.
And as time has changed, dynamics have changed, etc., etc. But you can't just go, we're going to do something else now. It's not like you can't just change a bulb and go, right, now the light is going to be blue, right? It doesn't happen that way. So you've got, when I was a young boy, and I bear in mind, I'm only 44 years old, right? And when I was a young boy, I was taught in school that boys don't cry, right? Boys must be strong, right? We don't talk about feelings because that affects other people. All right, that is genuinely what I was taught, right? Imagine what my father was taught and what his father was taught.
Yes.
All right. And again,
just the look.
And then 44 years old, girls of my age were given dolls and prams, and they were taught that girls care for dollies, and but that still happens. And so that generational change has always been there, right? So it's not society's fault that we are genetically created in that way, okay? But there has to be room for shift and change if people want it, right? So for me, there is a value there for men to unpick that men need to be strong, men need to be this, men need to be that. Because we need to unpick that and go, actually, you don't always need to be that. No. And, it's also okay for women to unpick I've got to be a mother, I've got to be a nurturer, I've got to be a carer, to go, actually, that's not what I want. I want a career. Yeah. So I'm going to be a career woman. The difference is when we stop that level of expectations to say, and I'm the prime example, disabled people shouldn't be going out climbing mountains. It's too dangerous. And I've had that conversation, right? So when I said I'm going to go and climb Everest, like the amount of people that said to me, are you mental? Like, there's no way you're going to achieve that. Okay. I went and did it anyway. Yeah. I could have sat there and gone, yeah, you're absolutely right.
I'm mentally strong. You were mentally strong. I am mentally able.
Yeah. And, when and I've got a friend of mine, and I'll talk about this. And when we talk about, so I like this whole gender thing at the moment because I think it's very topical, and I think there's some clear messages in there. And I've got a friend of mine who's very in touch. He's had a hell of a life, abused as a child, and he was always that, closed book. And he started opening up now, and we've become very, very close, and he's a very dear friend of mine, and he'll know who he is if I'm talking about it, right? Yeah. If you listen to the podcast. And we talk very openly about emotions and feelings, and we've spent many an hour funny enough walking the dog, and we've chatted about how we feel about certain things, and and there's been moments when I've welled up in his company, and there's moments I think when he's started to well up in mine. Then I've got another friend of mine who's very matter of fact, and he's he's quite manly, and he likes fixing cars and stuff. And I used to say to him about open up, you need to open up about your emotions. No, I've just got to, just deal with it. And then I ended up getting these two friends together, right? And we went to a car show. All right, because actually both of these people, I'm not actually that massive into cars, funny enough, but both of these people are mad about cars, right? Me, they're just a tool of the job, right? But these two are both absolutely mental about cars. And I ended up getting them two together, right, at a car show. And we're walking around this car show, we're having a great time. And they're very different in many ways as well. Like, for example, one of those people is vegan, and the other one, nothing better than a mixed grill, poles apart, right? And then me and the one friend, we're starting to talk, and we're chatting about our emotions and how's things, how's work, how's the family, how's this, how's that, how have you been, how are you feeling? I know that you've had a few struggles lately. And the other friend is listening in, and then he stops us mid-conversation. He says, sorry guys, I need to ask you, but do you always talk like this? We're like, yeah, it's completely natural.
He
And then
started to
he's like,
think, is this really the same Jamie I know?
yeah. And then he's like, so do other people talk like
Oh.
this? And we're like, yeah, it's completely normal. And that night we went out, we met up with another group of lads that me and my other mate know, right? And obviously this, I'm trying not to mention names. This friend knows none of this, right? Because he's not in this kind of circle. And they're all talking about their feelings and emotions. And he is absolutely dumbfounded. He's just like, you're in a pub talking about your feelings and your emotions and and your stresses and your strains, and you're discussing it, and we're fixing the problem. And he's absolutely gobsmacked.
He thought he was going to a car show that day. Little did he know.
Little did he know he was having a mindset shift. But then he has now changed his shift, and he now calls me, and we start having talked about his emotions and his feelings. And actually that event, that weekend, changed his perspective. Amazing. And he's now become more vulnerable. However, he's still the same person I have known for nearly 15 years, right? Like, he hasn't changed his character. He hasn't all of a sudden changed color. He doesn't wake up in the morning, in the morning and is all of a sudden bright pink. He's exactly the same person, but he's now entering a journey of self-preservation, of self-development, of learning, of understanding. He may only open up to me. I may be the only man he opens up to, but that doesn't matter.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that there's a real strength in that. And I think that goes back to our original conversation.
I was just thinking, what a 360.
Yeah. If we want to create the right environment to support the people that we love, that we care about, and give them the empowerment tools that they need, it is not an overnight thing, but you have to get to know them. And I knew that if I put my one friend in front of my other friend, even though I knew that they would connect, I knew that they would get on, right, because of their connected love for cars, right? They're proper petrol heads, both of them. And yet one of them is manly, the other one is more vulnerable. And now the one that was this, oh no, men don't cry, is now quite open to have, and very often me and him have now gone out, and I've seen him, welling up because he's now sharing his emotions, and it's a complete dynamic change. And actually, as a result, me and him have ended up being better friends because of it. Because he now has an understanding of me and how I react to things. So it's all a big learning curve, and this is that. And I've learned all of these lessons, all of this stuff, this vulnerability, this mindset space, this, all of this thing that to so many people out there is woo-woo. It's not. It's actually reality. Yeah. In the trenches, in the forces, the same thing. Yeah. In the hills, it's the same thing. When you're up in high altitude, when I say I cannot remember those moments, the reason I can't remember them is because the body only allows you to think of two things: breathing and walking. That's it. You don't have any other energy. So everything else is stripped back and it's taken away from you to allow you to think of those things.
That's incredible.
That's the power of having faith in the process.
Absolutely.
And it's something that I've certainly learned over the last decade, 11 years of my life. I was already learning it probably beforehand, but I came out of the army very macho, masculine. We're talking about an environment where actually masculinity is not just the way of life, it's gospel. To coming out to be more sensitive and approachable with my emotions. As a result of all of that, and as a result of the last 11 years of my life and 2 failed marriages and everything else that I can kind of pack in there, I've now in a new relationship with someone who's got 2 children. I've now found myself in a in the position of a stepfather figure, which I never expected in my life. I've never wanted to be a dad, but all of those time and experience has now given me the tools to be able to negotiate and communicate with the 3 people now that are in my life that are the most important things of my life.
Absolutely.
I've got a great relationship with my stepdaughter who I can sit down and talk to for hours. Me and my partner we could talk, because I have this saying that when things go tough, right, and they do, we have our challenges. Certainly me coming into, the life of two children, we started facing some serious challenges, but we've never ever had a crossword, argued, or raised voices at each other, not once, right? When I think about the marriage I came out of into the marriage that I've come into, or into the relationship I've come into, very, very different. And it's because we have this thing. It's not her against me.
Yeah.
It's us against the problem.
Yes.
And I've learned that over the years of different levels of adversity and diversity, that when we stop this is your point, this is my point, bang, that hits animosity. But when you sit down and go, okay, right, let's take whatever problem it is, and then it's me and you against the problem.
Amazing.
And a whole different dynamic. So when I'm now working, if I'm with my friend and he's got a problem, I don't go, okay, what's your problem? I go, okay, what's the problem?
Yes.
And then it becomes me and him against the problem.
Beautiful. I love that.
And we resolve the problem, and then we move on to whatever the next problem is, or we support each other throughout the process of that problem.
Absolutely.
That is absolute empowerment within itself, because what happens is then you don't have opinions that are colliding. You go, oh, okay, right, okay, well, I don't think this is why I don't think it, right? You don't think that, right? Okay, so these are our two opinions. Which one are we ultimately? You're going to have the end say, because ultimately it affects you more than me. But I've given you my opinion. I haven't told you how to fix it. I've just given you my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm signposting you in a direction. You don't have to listen to that. But then it's also about not getting offended because he hasn't listened to my advice.
Absolutely.
Because it's not me against him. It's us against the problem. And if at that time he thinks that is the right answer, then I'm 100% behind him. And I'm exactly the same with the kids, and I'm exactly the same with my partner.
Amazing.
And that's empowerment. So and me and Beck often sit down, we go, God, isn't it funny how we've never had even the slightest of crossword? And I'm like, it's because we don't look at things as being an issue between us. We look at it as a problem that we have to face.
Wow. Oh my gosh, so many different levels to this conversation. That's why I just love the freedom of it. No structure, because could we have ever even imagined that this would have all come out? Really, Jamie, thank you so much. I know there's going to be so many people that want to reach out to you. I'm going to put all your information in the description.
Bless you.
And I know you've shared so much, but just before you go, if there is one thing that someone listening right now would really benefit from hearing, just off the top of your head, what would you tell them?
Oh, listen, the message is always clear, and it's certainly clear around me. And I've shared this message to billions of people now. I think in society we have we have certain things that we fear, spiders, heights, whatever. But one of the biggest ones is the fear of failure, right? And so many people don't do things because they're frightened that they're not going to be successful. Now, I'm a suicide survivor, okay, and I talk very openly about that, as right the way through my journey, and it's all it's not a big secret. But I use that as an example because I've achieved, since my attempt at my own life, I have achieved so much, right? And that's not a big headed statement. It's just something that it's a fact. I went out, I've pushed myself, I've driven myself, I've raised hundreds of thousands of pounds for charity, and that's the power of failure. Because if I'd always been successful, I wouldn't be here. I'd have successfully ended my own life that day, and my greatest success has actually come from my greatest failure. So my top tip for everybody is don't fear failure. You see, success only ever tells you that what you're trying to do is achievable. That's all that success tells you. I'm trying to do this, I've succeeded, it's possible. What failure teaches you is how to do it better.
Yes.
How to do it differently, how to reapproach it. And actually, even things that have been done successfully has then been developed to be more efficient, to be better. And that's happened because someone else has failed, right?
Absolutely.
So everything that we do and touch is because someone's failed at something and then they have found a way forward to make it better. So my top tip to everybody is, look, you know, you're not always going to get it right. It's not always going to go to plan. It's not always going to be, you know, one button and everything's done. And life doesn't work that way. Okay. My advice to you is you are going to fail, and accept it. It's a way of life. You are going to get it wrong. It's okay. It's okay to be not okay, but it's also okay to be okay, by the way. All right, because if everybody woke up and no one was okay, like, we wouldn't get anywhere. So it's a saying that I like to break down a bit, going, you know, it's okay to not be okay, but it's okay to wake up like a buttonman's red coat as well, right? But whatever happens, and whatever you take away from this, and whatever, you know, golden nugget you take away from my, you know, hours worth of rambling, just take this: you are going to fall over, but you only have to do one thing, and that's get back up.
Yes.
And if you get back up, you'll be surprised what you can face.
Wow. That was some incredible rambling, Jamie. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
No,
I had
really,
absolutely no idea where we were going to go with this.
It's been an absolute pleasure, beyond what I even imagined. Like, I knew connecting with you was going to be a real privilege, and I'm so thankful. Thank you for your time, and I know a lot of people are going to gain so much from this episode. You're an absolute blessing. Thank you.
Bless you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, and have a great rest of the day, rest of the week, whenever you're listening. Have fantastic. Go out there and be the very best that you can be.
Thank you, and make sure you subscribe so these incredible voices like Jamie's get amplified and more people hear these incredible messages. Thank you so much.